is in a dimension completely different from our dimension. And even that dimension is within Him. It is not outside of Him. So God's own dimension is within Himself. And that dimension is not controlled by time. Now, just imagine a life without time. I'm not talking about the clock here, but time. For example, just imagine your birth, your death, your wedding, your child's birth, your mother's and father's birth, and every other event in your life. And not just your life, but in the life of every creature, visible and invisible. All the events are happening simultaneously. Every second of your life is happening at once, simultaneously, everything. Is your brain able to understand this? Can your intelligence comprehend that? Because if you remove time, an event cannot have a definite place in the scale of time, because time itself doesn't exist. For God, there is no past, present, or future. He is the one who was, who is, and who is to come. God is in the past, in the present, and in the future, all at the same time, simultaneously. God Himself is eternity. And even that eternity is within Him. Can your mind comprehend that? Absolutely not. Because your mind works on the concept of time. So, if you cannot understand that, can you understand God? And this is only one aspect of God, that He is not controlled by time. He says that He is the beginning and He is the end. He is the Alpha and He is the Omega. So the first thing that God created is time, so that He could place everything and everyone in a specific order in time. And because there was no time when He created time, time was made in eternity, which means that time was with God, and yet it was created. So God Almighty made a God called time. And then He proceeded to create the heavens and the earth. And every event now could have a place in time. And among the events in time, there is an event that is the event of events, the greatest event which had to manifest in time, though that event is in eternity already. And that event is that the God who is not controlled by time came into time and became a man. The greatest event that is not understood by even angels or demons or any other entity that was ever created. And that event is that God became a man. Because God is in a dimension within Himself, that is far beyond our comprehension. Man could never understand God. For man to start understanding God, God had to become a man. And that is where you find Jesus coming in this world as a man. God became flesh and blood and came into this world that is governed by the God called time. Now, man could get an idea how God is by looking at Jesus. Man could get an idea what the real character of God is by looking at Jesus. Man could now know by looking at Jesus what the heart of God is for man. But it does not end there. God also came as man in the form of Jesus to show man what man truly is. Because God created man in his own image, in his own likeness. God created you as himself. Man could now see that God actually loves them. Man could now understand that God actually sees man as his own child. Because man originally had the nature of God within him. But that nature was corrupted later when man sinned. It started with Adam. The sin started with Adam. And now God himself came to call back to himself everyone that is his. And to do that, God had to sacrifice himself to pay for the sins of humanity. Jesus came to tell man that God is actually your Father, your true Father, because you originally came from him. However, to go to your Father, the God not controlled by time, there is the right path to take. And that path is what we are talking about here. That path is Jesus. The God not controlled by time, who came into time and became a man.